The yellow safety line runs along the edge of the DC Metro escalator, bright under the station lights, warning every tired body we're not to cross. A busy commuter stands there on a humid morning, one hand on the rail, listening to the rhythmic clink of metal steps pulling everyone upward. The danger is not the escalator. The danger is the quiet belief that your hurry matters more than the people behind you. Most people think disrespect is loud. It raises its voice. It cuts someone off. It makes a scene. But in public life, disrespect is often smaller. It is a shoulder that refuses to shift. A bag left in the way. A body planted on the left side because, for one private second, the world is treated like it belongs to you. Standing right, walking left is not just transit etiquette. It is a small ritual of order. It says, I am not the only person moving through this morning. And that question follows you beyond the station. When pressure crowds your mind, do you make room, or do you become the obstacle? Samurai discipline begins there, in the ordinary place where no one applauds you for doing the decent thing. He is not a villain. That matters. He is just a busy commuter in a DC metro station on a humid morning, shirt sticking a little to his back, coffee breath still in his mouth, phone buzzing in his pocket with a message he does not want to answer yet. Maybe it is from a supervisor. Maybe it is from someone at home asking if he remembered something he absolutely forgot. Maybe it is just another calendar alert, another small alarm in a life built out of alarms. The escalator rises in front of him like a moving file of metal. Each step folds into the next with that steady clink, 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 patient and mechanical, as if the station itself has more discipline than the people using it. The yellow safety line is there at the edge. Simple. Bright. Unemotional. It does not argue. It does not flatter anyone. It just marks the boundary. He steps on. And for a second, he drifts left. Not because he has made some grand decision to disrespect the city. Not because he woke up wanting to become the reason someone else misses a train. It is smaller than that. That is what makes it dangerous. He is tired. He is irritated. He is thinking about his own morning, his own deadline, his own sweat, his own inconvenience. He feels the pressure of the day closing around him, and without saying it out loud, he lets his body say something for him. My time is heavier than yours. Behind him, shoes tap the metal steps with a sharper rhythm. Someone is trying to pass. Maybe a nurse coming off one line and trying to make another. Maybe a federal worker with a meeting that starts in 9 minutes. Maybe a student who already got delayed by a single tracking announcement. He does not know. That is the point. Public conduct is built on honoring what you do not know about other people's burdens. But the ego does not like that. The ego wants a private courtroom. It wants to present evidence. I am exhausted. I am late too. I paid my fare. I have had a hard week. Why should I move for them? Why do they get to rush past me like I am in their way? And suddenly, the escalator is no longer just an escalator. It becomes a test of rank inside the mind. Who matters more? Who gets the space? Who has to adjust? Who gets to be inconvenienced? This is where small selfishness disguises itself as fairness. He hears the person behind him shift. A quiet pause. Then the soft sound of restraint, because in public, most people do not want a confrontation before 9 in the morning. They do not want to say, "Excuse me," with that careful tone that means, you already know what you are doing. They do not want to become rude in order to correct someone else's rudeness. So they wait. They compress their urgency behind his back. And he feels it. A body knows when it is blocking the path. The shoulders know. The spine knows. The hand on the rail knows. He may pretend not to notice, may glance down at his phone, may stare at an ad on the tunnel wall, may act as if the noise of the station has swallowed all awareness. But the truth is physical. There is a person behind him, and there is space on his right. The yellow line passes under his shoes, step by step, bright and repetitive. It is not dramatic. It is not sacred. It is just a line. But public life depends on lines like that. Stand here. Wait here. Let them exit first. Hold the door if they are close enough. Keep your bag out of the seat. Lower your voice when the room is already tired. These are not decorations. They are the outer shape of inner order. REI is often misunderstood because people think etiquette is softness. They think courtesy is what you do when life is easy, when nobody is rushing, when everybody has slept enough and the air conditioning works. But real respect appears when you are uncomfortable and still refuse to make your discomfort everybody else's problem. That is the confrontation. Not with the stranger behind him. With the part of himself that wants to be excused from standards because the morning is unpleasant. He could tell himself it is harmless. It is only a few seconds. They can wait. People are too impatient anyway. DC is always rushing. Everyone needs to calm down. And maybe there is some truth buried in that. The city does move like a machine that forgot human beings have nerves. The trains are crowded. The platforms are hot. The workday starts before the mind is ready. But discipline does not ask whether the world is perfectly fair before it asks you to carry yourself correctly. That is the part people resist. Because when we are tired, we want our irritation to become permission. Permission to stand where we want. Permission to take up more room than we need. Permission to stop noticing. Permission to treat strangers as background objects in the movie of our own stress. The busy commuter grips the rail. The metal is slightly damp from 100 hands before his. The clink of the steps keeps going. Behind him, the waiting person exhales through the nose. Not loud. Not aggressive. Just enough to make the air change. His jaw tightens. There is the first reaction. Defend. He wants to stay where he is just because moving now would admit he was wrong. That is how the ego turns a tiny correction into a personal defeat. Nobody has insulted him. Nobody has touched him. Nobody has made a speech. Yet his pride is already preparing one. I'm not doing anything wrong. They can go around. I'm allowed to stand here. But the escalator has rules older than his mood. Stand right, walk left. It is not complicated. It is only hard because it asks him to remember that other people exist with full lives, full pressures, full reasons, even when he cannot see any of them. A person without discipline waits for the world to become polite first. Then he will be polite back. He waits for the stranger to ask nicely. He waits for the crowd to prove it deserves his consideration. He waits for his own stress to go down before he behaves with order. A disciplined person does not need the world to earn his standards. He notices the left side is for movement. He notices his body has become the obstacle. He notices the little flare of resentment in his chest, the one that says, "Why should I move?" He does not have to worship that feeling. He does not have to shame himself for having it either. He only has to put it in its proper place. Feeling inconvenienced is allowed. Blocking the path is still a choice. So the confrontation becomes small enough to be honest. It is not about being a good person forever. It is not about becoming some flawless model of public virtue. It is one humid morning, one escalator, one yellow safety line, one stranger behind him, one step to the right. That is why public conduct matters. It exposes the truth before anyone has time to polish their image. You can speak beautifully about respect and still make a doorway harder to use. You can believe in kindness and still leave your card in the middle of the aisle. You can post about discipline and still become dead weight on the left side of an escalator because your mind has narrowed down to your own inconvenience. The station does not care about his self-image. The steps keep climbing. The clink keeps repeating. The yellow line keeps returning under his feet like a quiet instruction he can either honor or ignore. And in that small space, his character is not announced. It is revealed. Training begins before he feels generous. It begins while his shoulder is still in the way. The commuter does not need a speech. He does not need a book on character, or a morning without humidity, or a station full of patient people. He needs 1 second of honest awareness before pride hardens into posture. The metal steps keep rising beneath him. Clink, clink, clink. The yellow safety line keeps appearing, disappearing, appearing again, like the station is giving him the same instruction until he is mature enough to receive it. He first stops the inner argument. Not the escalator. Not the crowd. The argument inside him. His hand stays on the rail, but his attention moves from the stranger behind him to the little courtroom in his head. The part that wants to defend itself. The part that wants to say, "I'm tired too." The part that wants to turn 1 inch of public space into proof of personal importance. He does not attack that part. He names it quietly. "I don't want to move because I don't want to feel corrected." That sentence does something. It removes the costume. The issue is no longer fairness, or urgency, or whether DC commuters are too impatient. The issue is pride. Small pride. Ordinary pride. The kind that fits easily inside a morning commute and still manages to take up too much room. Then he checks his body. His feet are planted wide, half on the left, half on the right. His bag hangs slightly out from his hip. His elbow is angled in a way that makes the passing lane feel narrower. None of this is evil. That is why it matters. Most disorder in public does not arrive wearing a monster's face. It arrives as a person who stopped measuring how much space he was taking. So he lowers his bag closer to his leg. A small movement. Almost nothing. But the mind feels it. The body has been told, we are not expanding just because we are irritated. He draws his elbow in. The rail is still there. The escalator still climbs. The air is still damp. But now his shape has changed. He is no longer letting his inconvenience spill into the walkway. The shadow inside him, that belief that his time is more valuable than the people behind him, loses a little oxygen every time his body gives space back to the world. Then he turns his head, just enough to acknowledge the presence behind him. He does not need to stare. He does not need to perform guilt. A quick glance is enough. Someone is there. A real person. Not pressure. Not noise. Not an interruption to his private morning. A person with a train to catch, a reason to move, a life he cannot see from the back of an escalator. That glance is a form of respect. REI is not sentimental. It is exact. It teaches that the outer form can rescue the inner life when the inner life is too crowded to think clearly. The bow in old practice was not about decoration. In modern public life, the bow may look like stepping aside before being asked. It may look like keeping your voice low on a crowded train. It may look like leaving the left side open when your legs are resting but someone else's morning is still moving. He shifts right. One foot first, then the other. He does not stomp. He does not roll his eyes. He does not turn the correction into theater. His right shoulder aligns with the right side of the escalator, and the left side opens like a narrow current of water. The person behind him passes. Maybe they say, "Thanks." Maybe they say nothing. That is where the training deepens. Because the undisciplined ego wants payment. It wants appreciation for every basic act of decency. It wants the world to notice, "Look, I moved. Look, I was considerate. Look, I am not the problem anymore." But public dignity is not a transaction. He lets the stranger pass without demanding emotional applause. He listens to the footsteps climbing away, faster than the escalator itself. The clink of the metal steps remains under everything. His hand rests on the rail. The yellow line keeps moving beneath him. Nothing grand has happened, and yet the morning is slightly more ordered because he refused to make his pride heavier than someone else's path. Now he practices the second movement. He stays aware after the correction. Many people can do the right thing once they have been embarrassed. Fewer can remain awake without becoming resentful. He feels that little aftertaste in his chest, the mild sting of being wrong in public even when nobody said anything. He wants to escape into his phone. He wants to bury the moment under headlines, messages, weather, anything that lets him stop feeling the lesson. Instead, he keeps his eyes up. He watches the landing ahead. He notices a woman with a tote bag moving carefully near the top. He notices a man with headphones standing too close to the center. He notices the flow, right side resting, left side moving. Not as a rule posted somewhere, but as a living agreement between strangers who will never know each other's names. That is the ritual. Stand right. Walk left. Leave room. Notice sooner. Correct without drama. Repeat until the body understands what the ego keeps forgetting. The commuter reaches the top and steps off cleanly, not pausing where others need to exit. That is another small action, another place where public order either lives or dies. He moves a few feet forward before checking his phone. He angles his body away from the main flow. He gives the station its passage. Again, almost nothing. Again, training. The shadow does not disappear. He still has his own deadline. The unanswered message is still waiting. His shirt still clings in the humid tunnel air. But something inside him has been put back into proportion. His time matters. It simply does not matter more than everyone else's. That is the quiet discipline of public conduct. It does not ask you to become invisible. It asks you to become accurate. To know where your body is. To know what your mood is trying to justify. To know when your private pressure is beginning to tax the room. At the platform, another train announcement rolls through the speakers, distorted and half swallowed by the station. People adjust. Bags shift. A few faces tighten. The city keeps pressing everyone into each other's space. He stands behind the yellow line. This time, the line is not only a safety mark. It is a reminder that dignity often begins at the boundary between your stress and another person's path. He cannot control the train. He cannot cool the air. He cannot make the morning gentle. But he can stand where he is supposed to stand. And sometimes, that is where order returns. By the time he reaches the platform, the morning has not become kind. The air is still thick. The station still holds that underground heat that makes collars feel tighter and patience feel thinner. A train announcement breaks through the speakers in pieces, its words bent by static. People look up at the board, then down at their phones, then back at the board as if staring harder might pull the train in faster. The city is still the city. But he is standing differently now. Not dramatically. No one would point to him and say something has changed. His shirt is still damp at the back. The message in his pocket is still unanswered. His schedule still has that sharp edge to it. He still feels late in the way commuters feel late, even when the clock says they might barely make it. Yet his body has stopped making a private emergency into a public obstacle. He stands behind the yellow safety line with both feet placed cleanly, not drifting forward, not leaning into the track space, not crowding the person beside him. The line glows at the platform edge, the same color as before, but now it has weight. Earlier, it was only a warning. Now it is a measure. A boundary between urgency and carelessness. Between pressure and intrusion. Between the part of him that wants to take more space and the part of him that knows better. That is how transformation usually arrives in real life. It does not enter with thunder. It enters as a corrected stance. The train lights appear deep in the tunnel. People begin to tighten toward the doors before the train is even stopped. The old impulse rises in him again. Move first. Get ahead. Protect your own time. Don't let the crowd slow you down. The shadow is still there. That quiet belief has not been killed. It has only been exposed. His time still feels important because it is important. He still has places to be. He still has people expecting him. He still has the pressure of the morning pressing at his ribs. Discipline does not insult that. It does not ask him to pretend he is above the crowd or untouched by irritation. It asks him not to let irritation write his manners. The train slows. Brakes sigh against steel. The doors line up unevenly with the waiting bodies, and for a second the platform becomes a silent negotiation. Everyone wants in. Everyone wants out. Everyone has somewhere to go. He remembers the escalator. The left side opening. The person passing without ceremony. The rhythmic clink of the metal steps, steady beneath his small decision. So when the doors open, he does not push toward the gap. He steps slightly aside and lets passengers exit first. A woman with a backpack comes out fast, eyes fixed ahead. A man in a wrinkled shirt follows, carrying a paper bag and trying not to spill his coffee. Someone behind him shifts impatiently, and he feels that social pressure, the subtle shove of the crowd asking him to forget the standard. He does not forget. He holds his place for 2 seconds longer. 2 seconds is not much. It is also enough to reveal whether a person has command over himself when nothing heroic is required. Then he boards. Inside the car, there are no miracles waiting for him. No open seat glowing like a reward for character. No stranger nodding as if the universe has recognized his growth. The car is crowded, warm, and full of people pretending not to be as tired as they are. A pole is slick from too many hands. A backpack brushes his side. Someone's music leaks faintly through headphones. He moves inward instead of stopping at the door. That is the next test. The same lesson wearing a different uniform. Blocking the escalator was one version. Blocking the train door is another. Standing in the aisle with no awareness is another. Letting a bag claim the space where a person could stand is another. Public life keeps offering the same examination in small forms, and most people fail it because they are waiting for a larger moment to prove who they are. He turns his body sideways to make room. He slides his bag off his shoulder and holds it low by his leg. He plants one hand on the pole and keeps his elbow close. The movement is plain. It would look boring on camera unless the camera understood what was happening inside him. He is reducing his footprint. Not because he is less important. Because importance does not require unnecessary space. Across from him, a young woman steps in just before the doors close, breathing hard, maybe after walking the left side of that same escalator. He sees the flush in her face, the way her eyes scan for a place to stand. Without making a performance of it, he shifts half a step back. Not far. Just enough. She fits into the space. The doors close. The train pulls forward, and the force of it rocks everyone at once. His shoulder bumps lightly against the pole. The old irritation tries to return, looking for a reason to blame someone. Too crowded. Too hot. Too many people. Too much city. But his attention comes back to the yellow safety line in his mind. A line does not have to be under your feet to guide you. That is the deeper meaning of the anchor now. At first, the yellow line told him where danger began. Then it told him where order could begin. Now it tells him something harder. Every person carries an invisible yellow line between their own pressure and the dignity of others. Cross it too often, and you may still get where you are going. But you become harder to live beside. The commuter looks at the dark window of the train and catches a faint reflection of himself between tunnel lights. Not a transformed man. Not some perfected citizen. Just someone who noticed himself before the morning completely narrowed him. Someone who moved his shoulder. Someone who let another person pass. Someone who learned that courtesy is not weakness when it costs you a little convenience. The train keeps moving. The message in his pocket still waits. The humid day above the station still waits. And when the next stop comes, when the doors open and the crowd rearranges itself again, he will have to choose again. That is the honest part. Discipline is not stored permanently after one correct action. It has to be renewed in the next doorway, the next line, the next staircase, the next moment when the ego whispers that your burden gives you permission to forget everyone else's. He adjusts his grip on the pole. He makes room. The yellow line has become more than paint on the platform. It has become a private rule for moving through the world without making your stress someone else's wall. You will not always be tested in a crisis. Sometimes the test is a humid morning underground, a crowded escalator, and a yellow safety line passing under your shoes. Sometimes it is the moment you realize your body has become the thing slowing someone else down, and your pride wants to pretend you did not notice. That is why this rule matters. Stand right. Walk left. It is simple enough to dismiss, which is exactly why it reveals so much. The small public ritual tells the truth before your resume, your opinions, or your self-image can explain it away. Do you leave room when no one praises you for it? Do you correct yourself before someone has to correct you? Do you carry your pressure without handing it to strangers? Maybe your battlefield today is not the metro. Maybe it is the office doorway where people are trying to pass. Maybe it is the grocery aisle where your cart is angled across the path. Maybe it is your own kitchen, where your irritation is beginning to fill the whole room. Start there. Move your bag. Lower your voice. Let them exit first. Take the right side when you are standing still. Let the left side remain open for someone whose urgency you may never understand. If this lesson belongs in your life, stay with this channel and train the small moments before the larger ones arrive. The yellow line is not only a warning. It is a quiet invitation to become easier to live beside. Ritual is not decoration. It is the outer shape of inner order.